So welcome, Kenny, to the show. Welcome.
I appreciate you for having me. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So just let's just start with who is Kenny Clutch. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your background.
Uh, Kenny Clutch is a first and foremost a man of God. Without him, I have nothing. Without the Creator, I am nothing. A husband, a father, and someone who wants to come out and serve the world the best way possible every single day.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like what you said, without the Creator, well, none of us be here, So we gotta
Amen.
always put that first. Tell me,
Amen.
you had, like, when I look at your videos, I one of the things that stands out to me is like the tremendous adversity that you've experienced. You say it kind of brought you to where you are, and when I watch your story, it reminds me of some of the things that I struggle with myself. Like, you were already in the business of inspiring people before you experienced
Yes.
your most difficult hardship. So,
Hmm.
like, you already had a YouTube channel, you were already like a choreographer, working with youth, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I was doing my first job actually was at the YMCA. So I was working at the YMCA, and that's when I first started teaching dance. Normally, dance would do the trick. If I've ever felt any type of anger, or if I felt that anyone has ever doubted me in any type of way, then I go to dance, because then it's like I have this competitive nature about me where I'm set to prove somebody wrong. Um, and I've always had that dog in me, to where I'm like, yo, like I have to make sure that I'm coming out on top. I have to win. I can't continue to uh, hear people say, the naysayers, and I can't let them get to me. I got to keep going. So I never really been stressed about it, but it was always like, looking for uh, that why, or that drive. Like, who's gonna challenge me today?
Right. So, with your youngest son, Christian, did it get pretty stressful with everything that was going on with his health?
Um, at times it got not necessarily for me, but for my wife, it got a little stressful. So if I did have any stress at all, it was because my counterpart was off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where she was down, or she was feeling depressed in some way, and that's something that I don't like. If my wife is feeling it, then I got a problem.
Hmm.
So when we were going through stuff with Christian, I had my moments where I would ask God, like, why me? Why are we going through this? But then he would always show me why. And I learned, as we progressed in this time that we were in the hospital, the real reason why we were going through it. It didn't really occur until after, like, the first month.
Okay. So we're gonna come right back to that why, but can you, like,
Hmm.
so people that are watching can understand, what you were in the hospital for, what was
Yeah.
going on with Christian?
Yeah, so so Christian is my youngest son. He was born with trisomy 21. For those that don't know what trisomy 21 is, it means that a person has 47 chromosomes instead of 46 chromosomes. So his 21st chromosome has 3 copies of the same chromosome gene. So you get 23 from mom, 23 from dad. Somewhere along the line, when Christian was being conceived, me or my wife, somebody just do something a little bit extra. That's all. So that's pretty much what trisomy 21 is. And basically, when he was born with a rare blood disorder. That blood disorder was you know he had really really low platelet counts. So platelets, for those that don't know, it's the red blood cells that clot your blood. So if Christian was to get a paper cut or something like that, he could possibly bleed to death because he didn't have enough cells to back it up. If it was someone like me, that didn't have that blood disorder, the blood cells or whatever rush right to where the cut is, to clot the blood from pouring out. Christian only had about 15 to 20,000 platelets when he was born. Your average human being walks around with 600, 800,000 platelet cells. Christian had 15 to 20,000 when he was born. So he spent the first 10 days in the hospital getting his platelets above, 55. So it was like they got to be above like 55,000 in order for him to go home and be okay. From there, for the first year of his life, the first 14 months of his life, Christian was in the doctor's office 3 times a week, getting poked 3 times a week, checking his blood 3 times a week, because they said that if it drops below a certain number, like if it drops below 10, once it gets into the single digits, then Christian could develop leukemia. So that's what they were, watching out for. So we would take him to the doctors 3 times a week to check his blood. About 14 months into his life, he had these 2 rare fevers, and with these fevers, they weren't like teething fevers. They were like something different. Like you don't get back to back. Babies don't get back to back fevers like that. So it may be a fever for about a day, and that's just because they're teething, and then that's about it. Christian, on the other hand, had 2 back-to-back fevers, and we were like, what's going on? Because that's a little bit rare. But we thought at first that because of his Downs syndrome, so because his teeth came in late, so we thought it was just something different. But come to find out, we go to the hematologist, got him checked out. She said, you need to take him to CHOP immediately, set up an appointment, and get a second opinion, because I seen something in his blood, and I just want to make sure that I'm correct. And at first, we couldn't even get into CHOP because of the insurance that we had. So they was trying to, because of the insurance that we had, they weren't going to take us. We actually got denied at first. So it's kind of like, if you ever seen the movie John Q, it was kind of like that. So because of the type of insurance that we had here in Jersey, CHOP wasn't going to take him. So then we had to file an appeal for him to get seen. So we finally got him seen, and once they took him in, they had to take us at that point, because the day that we actually went to the hospital, we found out that he was diagnosed with AMKL, which is a form of leukemia. And that day we were supposed to go out on like a family trip. We thought like everything was all right with him, but we were supposed to go out on a family fun day, actually, because our kids had just got out of school. We was going to go to Dave & Buster's, have some fun, chop it up. And that day turned out to be 32 days straight in the hospital. So it turned into trying to go out, and then no, you're not going out. Your life just changes just like that. We're going to need you guys to stay here for this whole first round of chemotherapy, surgery, everything. Your life switched, gone, bye-bye, no more this, no more that. It's over. Switch up just like that. And so that's what Christian was going through. First round of chemotherapy, 32 days in the hospital to take the chemo, then recover from it.
And what year was that?
That was 2018.
2018. Okay, because I saw in one of your videos you said that 2018 was the quarantine for you. Like this is the quarantine for everybody else, but your quarantine was in 2018.
Yeah.
So there was a ripple effect from his health condition. It affected other parts of your life.
Yeah. Did it ever? I mean, that was quarantine preparation. I put it that way. Because everything got affected. My kids had to sleep on an air mattress that entire summer at their grandma's house. They couldn't stay home. Bills started piling up because we owned a dance studio. We had to pay rent at the dance studio still and rent at our home. But you can't really do that if I got to cut the hours at the studio. So I ended up having to cut the hours at the studio from 6 days a week down to 2 days a week, because I had to be there for my son. Like there was no way that I was going to be running a whole dance studio and my wife is over, at the hospital and I'm not there to be there for him. So what we did was we cut out all the open classes and only kept the classes that were like the competition teams, because those were the most consistent classes that we had. So we just kept the team intact, and at least we can, see if we can make enough bank to pay bills here and there. But the bills just kept stacking up, stacking up, stacking up. We lost about 65% of our income during this time. And at that time, my wife wasn't working because Christian has Down syndrome. So there's no way for her to, to go back to work, because she had to make sure that these are the first most critical years of his life. So for any baby, rather, whether you're, have Down syndrome or not. So she was going to go back to work, but then, when we found out that he had Down syndrome, that was a no-brainer. So our house had went up for sale, and actually still is up for sale at this point, to be honest with you. And we're working hard to, to get it. Our landlord has been working with us. He's been, so generous. But at the same time, he has to do what he has to do. So we're working hard right now to try and, secure this home and grab that. So when you say things trickled into, a ripple effect, it really did.
And so you said a moment ago that you went through that phase of why me? And oh my gosh, if that question does not burn, as somebody that's going through hardship, you look around and you
Yeah,
see other people who, from the outside looking in, because you never know what somebody's going through, but it appears
yeah,
that things are smooth for other people. Or you even look at yourself in the past, you're like, well, life was smooth, and now this has been thrown into my life. How do I get through it? And why was this battle chosen for me? What answers were you receiving with the questions about why me and finding your why to get through it?
yeah. See, I had a dream, and in that dream, there was a moth, and I smacked the moth on my wall. And after I smacked the moth turned into a bat. Actually, no, it was a centipede crawling up the wall. I smacked the centipede turned into a moth, and then the moth turned into a bat. And then after that, the bat flew into my ceiling fan in my room. And so then the cup of the ceiling fan is normally like this, and then it was turned upside down like this, like a triangle. So think like a pyramid, right? So there was a ring of bats hanging upside down inside the cup of, the light on the ceiling fan. And I looked it up, and spiritually speaking, it means look at your situation from a different perspective. So when I started looking at it from a different perspective, I'm like, okay, guys, so basically you telling me that my situation right now is not necessarily for me. It's for someone else. It's for that mom, that dad, that family that's going through the same thing right now. Can you use your gift to make the shift? Use your gift to make the shift. And once we started using our gift, the shift actually started to happen. They told us that we were going to be in the hospital for about over 300 days, in and out. We was only in the hospital for 149 days. Cut that completely in half, you know. And it's just that was the transition. And I understood why me, because when I started posting these videos for people, it was, well, no, first I was posting the videos just for my my friends and family, to let them know that everything was okay. But then word started spreading around, the video started being shared even more, and people were just seeing this and like, yo, like, this is mad dope. Like, thank you. Like, you truly helped me today, because, some people were even saying like, yo, they were going to do self-harm. And that's crazy. Like, you're going to off yourself and stuff or whatever. And just knowing that me dancing for my son in the hospital saved somebody's life. That's when I knew, like, okay, I get it. Now I know why, God, you chose me to do this, because I started using my gift for the shift.
So where did the inspiration to do that, like to dance with your son, was that to bring a smile on his face? Was that a personal moment with you and your son that you ended up capturing?
Well, technically, it was two things that was involved. One, it was to put a smile on his face. That was first and foremost, because they had these these therapists that would come into the hospital room, and they would be singing, trying to dance. They'd be having these ukuleles and stuff or whatever. I'm like, yo, y'all gonna kill my son or whatever if y'all keep this up. Like, so we dismissed them, and I said, babe, turn on some James Brown. Because I wanted to get down because I wanted to train. It was days and days or whatever that went by, and I haven't trained, and I haven't gotten any work in. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to be in here in this hospital room, I might as well go ahead and get busy too. So when we started dancing and the music started playing, my wife turned on the camera and started recording me and my son. And he just started moving his little arms, moving his hands, smiling. And I'm like, oh, snap, he likes it. And in that very first video that we did, boom, like it had got like 10,000 views, which is more than what I had at that time. I wasn't getting those type of views. And then when I seen people actually started liking it and it really started helping them, I said, okay, I'm gonna do one every day.
Wow. And so you went around the
Yeah,
hospital and you danced for other kids in the hospital too?
I did. Yeah, I danced for other kids in the hospital if there was a request, because we got so popular that people were requesting me to come to their room and dance for their children as well too. So I was dancing for them. Even the lunch ladies was trying to get down. Some of the
Wow.
nurses, whatever room I would go to, even some of the nurses would pop up and they would get down with me.
Wow. So use your gift to make the shift. Use your
Mm-hmm.
gift to make the shift.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sometimes hard, and it
Yeah.
takes a certain kind of, something in you to be able to focus on, others and not just
Yeah.
yourself and the pain that you're in, because sometimes the pain and, the why me's, it becomes paralyzing for people.
Oh,
And you were able to move through that. And, I just
yeah.
think back to something I heard before, like, what is it that God put in you that allowed you to do that? That
Mm-hmm.
allowed you to move through that? That's a special something. Because everybody don't have that.
Well, everybody has a gift though, right?
Everybody has a gift.
Everybody
Everybody
has a
has
gift,
a
but
gift.
not everybody uses their gift, right?
So everyone has a gift at the end of the day. Whether you use that gift or not, that would determine the level of your success. So I believe like this. So Jesus had a parable in Matthew 25, and whether you believe in God or not, here's a parable for you. So there's just three guys, and this is around verse number 10, Matthew 25, verse number 10, somewhere around there. It's these three guys. They all have a gift / talent. What they called talents back then was pretty much money. Money, which to them was, one talent would be 76 kilograms, which is about 110 pounds worth of gold and silver, right? So one guy had about 5 talents, another guy had about 3 talents, another one had 1. The one that had 5 turned it into 10. The other one that had 3 turned it into 6. The one that had 1, he didn't turn it into anything. He actually buried the talent. He buried the money. He didn't produce. He didn't put anything in. He didn't make more from what he already had, because he only had 1 talent. The master comes back and the master says, good job, my faithful servant. You turned it into 10. You turned it into you turned it into 6 to the 2. Then the other one, and I'm paraphrasing here, the last one, he asked, where's the talent that I gave you? He said, Master, I buried it. I buried the talent. Why would you do that? Why would you bury the talent that I gave you? He said, well, I know that you like your money, so I didn't want to go out and waste it. So he called him a fool, pretty much, because I wanted you to take that talent and double it. Take that talent and multiply it. So he took the talent away from him and gave it to the one that turned 3 into 6. So sometimes what you got to understand is, if you don't use your talent, if you don't use your gift, that gift is going to be taken away from you, and that gift is going to be given to somebody else. So again, everybody is born with a gift, but on the level that you use your gift on will determine the level of your success.
What about someone who, life has just gotten so hard that they feel like giving up because of things that, losing a loved one, it's just so overwhelming and they feel like their talent or their gift has already been taken away from them, even though they're still here. You know, what would you say to that person?
Yeah, well, remember this. Well, I say this. Here's an exercise that I teach people to do all the time, right? So this is thing that we call the pillars of strength. So, and just to go back to the Bible, there's this guy in the Bible in the Old Testament. His name is Samson. Samson is known as the strongest man who ever walked the face of the earth, right? His strength was his hair. God told Samson's mother to never cut his hair because that's going to be the source of his strength. That's where he's going to get his power from, right? So Samson, one day he falls in love with this woman. And it's just ironic or whatever that there's always a woman in the Bible that's going to do something. And then it's like, so he falls in love with this woman. Her name is Delilah. And Delilah pretty much seduces him and persuades him into telling her his gift, which he wasn't supposed to say at all, right? So anyway, long story short, he ends up, after 3 times she tried to get him to say it, he never said anything. The 4th time, he actually finally gave in because he was so in love with her and infatuated with her. She tells him the gift. She ends up cutting his hair off in the middle of the night, which made him weak. Now he's weak. He doesn't have his strength anymore. He doesn't have his gift anymore. The reason why she did that is because the army that was coming after him had no way to get him because they didn't know his weakness. So when she cut his hair off after he told her what his strength was, they went ahead and got him. They gouged his eyes out, and then they pretty much chained him up in the dungeon, beat him half to death, and humiliated him and embarrassed him. Goes out into the front of the entire city, and he's in front of these 2 pillars. So there's a pillar on this side, pillar on this side, and he's chained up against the pillars, right? And his eyes are gouged out, so he can't see. He doesn't know what's happening. All he knows is that people are just, mocking him, the whole 9 yards. So he asked God for one more favor because he was about to die. He said, God, give me my strength one more time. Just one more time, give me my strength. This man is down and out, pretty much. He asked God for his gift one more time. And once he did that, he then pushed the pillars out. Once he pushed the pillars out, the pillars are what held the city up. So when he pushed those out, the entire city came crumbling down. And he killed 10,000 Israelites in one day, including himself, because the pillars came down. Like, if you're going to embarrass me, pretty much, I'm taking everybody with me. Now, why do I use that, right? So these pillars right here, if you can imagine my hands for those that are watching, right? So there's a pillar here and there's a pillar here, right? Inside the pillar, imagine my face as all the positive things that go on in your life. I want you to write them down on a sheet of paper, right? So you write down, let's say you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Write them on this side and then write them on this side, okay? So then what you do is on the outside of the pillars, right, you write down all the negative things that are going on in your life. Whatever is negative, you write it down here. I don't care how many it is. If it's a negative, you write it down. What you want to do is you want to look at those negatives, right? And then you want to look at your positives. You take your positive tangibles that you have, even if you only have 3 positive tangibles and you got 10 negatives. How can you take those 3 positives that you have and push out, boom, the negatives with them that are trying to inflict on your life? You take the positives that you have inside and you push them out on the negatives. So if you have a money issue, like finances is a negative that's always pounding your life, right? Okay, what is it that you have in the positives that can defeat this negative that keeps, trying to come in on your life and knock your pillars inside instead of out like that to hold you to keep your pillars straight. So what you want to do is for me, I dance or I speak. Those are the positive things in my life. So what do I got to do? I got to go out and find more dance gigs. I got to go out and find more speaking gigs. I'm going to use my gifts to take away the negativity in my life. Now, what do we do? Even if it's people, some of us have people they're just like, yo, I can't with this person. I can't with that person. Like they're inflicting so much negativity in my life. Okay, put the pillar sheet up, okay, and write it down. Boom. How can you do that? Martin Luther King said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that, right? So if that's the case, show them love, right, from a distance, but remove yourself from the situation, okay? Remove yourself from them. If they're not going to move, then you move. You know what I'm saying? So if you move and they see you doing something different and using your life differently, then therefore, you know, you're knocking this out. What we want to do is filter out the negativity. Negativity is always going to try and come in and hit you, right? But it's how we filter it out. If we can learn how to filter it out, then people will learn how to make the shift in their life to be like, okay, I can do this. I can get past it. But it's a daily practice. You got to practice this stuff. You cannot do this just in one day. This is a daily practice. And when it's done correctly, you will be successful and you will learn that, yo, I can use my gift and I'm doing the same process right now. Like, I lost 65% of my income, guys. 65%. I was making $100,000 a year, you know, doing dance, right? A little bit more than 100,000, maybe like 110, 115, right? So, and that was feeding my family. That was taking care of my business. You know, I was on the way up, and we had about 75 to 80 students in our facility. All that got wiped away. So what I did was I started using the positive development strategy format, which is what I just told you guys, which is part of the positive development strategy format are the pillars of strength. You know what I'm saying? So once we develop those pillars of strength and we do that as a daily practice every day, when negativity hits, when you get a negative phone call, when you see negativity on the internet, how can you filter that out to keep your focus on your dreams and on your goals to get to? That's the first step. And this is all a part of what we call in the strategies of setting the atmosphere. Once you set the atmosphere and you got your pillars of strength involved, then you can take that next step as in, okay, I can see clearly, all the negativity is out of the way, I see exactly where I'm going, and there's no distractions. So setting the atmosphere has to deal with, number one, getting rid of the negative people that are in your life and the negative things in your life. Step number two, setting up your pillars of strength. Set those pillars up. Once we got those pillars up and we are practicing them daily, you'll start to see results. And I say this because now, I've been blessed enough to come out to where we're almost back to where we need to be financially. So we're making the climb. We're getting there. So it's work at the end of the day. That's step number 3. Do the work. If you don't do the work, then nothing will work for you. You gotta do the work. If you don't, you gotta put the time in and the effort. You were born for a reason, and you have to understand that you have true purpose. Your job is to find out what that purpose is for you, and then attack.
Do you find that because that was amazing. That was really good. That was a true breakdown. And when you say at the end the purpose that God has a purpose for you, do you find that you found your purpose, like you really tapped into it at a deeper level through this pain that you've experienced?
Yep, absolutely. Because I thought I was supposed to be dancing, you know, and choreographing for like Beyonce or somebody like that, or like, you know, Chris Brown and Neo or J-Lo. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to choreograph. But through this situation, God was like, no, you're not going to be dancing on those stages. I'm going to give you the entire world to speak to. That's much greater than dancing for 30,000 fans, you know, screaming and yelling and everything in a stadium. Although that's well and good, it's only monetary. You know what I'm saying? So being that it's monetary, it's only here for a little bit. I'm going to give you the world because I got something to say. Not me, him.
Right.
So he got something to say, and he's using me to say it.
Exactly. And you segue right to the next thing. You said it's only monetary, and you said that you're almost getting back to where you were financially. But when you said that, what I was seeing was, but you're richer than you were. You're
Absolutely.
having a huger impact than you ever did before, because whereas you were making six figures, but now you're making $1 million moves because you're impacting
Exactly.
so many people. You're impacting, like you said, the world. And
Yeah.
you would not have had the reach that you have now had it not been for the hardship that you experienced with Christian. Is
Yeah.
that
Amen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. I believe that we're, 100 times richer than what we were before. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we were even before Christian was born, and before Christian had cancer and stuff like that, we were still struggling. Like, we were struggling still, like, because everything was still so high. There was no, even though we were making six figures, there was no room to make more. There was no room to save still. Our bills were that high that there was no room to save. So it's like when you're going into a world of, I put it to you like this. You ever been in like a really tight apartment, and you've been there for a long time, and then stuff just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up, but you personally are growing. You're growing, and your maturity is growing, your faith is growing, even your finances may be growing a little bit, but you're still stuck in this little apartment, and it's getting super tight. Then you may meet a boo thing or whatever, and then he or she or whatever, they come into play, and then now you got their stuff, and then you have a kid, and now you got their stuff, right? You don't have the capacity to hold everything that's in there because it's too much, and then that causes so much stress on you, because then you're like, dang, but I'm not where I want to be at financially to actually move, right? So therefore, for us, it was just like, we felt like we were just cluttered a lot. And it wasn't until we went through the situation with Christian where we were really tested, and God was like, what do you have? Well, God, I only have my faith. I don't even have my money right now, because that's gone, right? I only got my faith. He's like, all right, give me that. What do you have? Give it to me, and then watch what I do with it. So I said, all right, cool. Shut down the dance studio. Shut it down. I stopped traveling, to other places, and teaching so often. Shut that down. Okay, can he go speak here? Me. You want me to go speak? Like, I'm the quiet guy. I'm the introvert guy. Yeah, you go speak, go do it. So really, it's about, he was opening my capacity. You know what I'm saying? He was getting rid of the junk that was not needed anymore, right? And then he started opening me up. And when he started opening me up, he started filling in, the good stuff, the good ingredients, the good food. So now, even with that, it's starting to overflow into the world. So now that's where we're at.
Wow. Give me your faith.
Yeah.
It's touching.
Yeah.
It's something that, I try to, stay faithful and get, I have a strong faith, but it's still sometimes I understand that I was given this pain, that God allowed it, but sometimes it
Yeah.
still is like this, I guess I call it a wrestling. Sometimes I accept it, and then sometimes it's still like I still am in that phase where I go back to the why me sometimes, or why this pain for me, or could you have I could have given you my faith even without this trial or this challenge, but it does give you an appreciation for life in a different way and for the little things,
Yeah.
Has it changed the things that you appreciate, the little things in life?
I've always been appreciative of the little things in life. I'm appreciative for oxygen and air that I can't even see right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm appreciative of that. See, the things that we need to appreciate the things that we don't see, right? Right now, you don't see the inside of my heart, but we need to appreciate it because it's working right now for me. You don't appreciate the other organs that we have inside of our own body. See, what we appreciate is how we look on the outside. We don't appreciate what we see on the inside, right? That's what we do. We sit there and only go by what we actually see, not what we don't see. When in reality, what we don't see is what is richer than what we do see. Right?
And
So
that really leads us right into faith, because isn't that really what faith is? You know, not
exactly.
focusing on what you see, but focusing on the unseen.
Exactly. I put it to you like this. You know, when you're feeling weak and when you're feeling like that why me moment, you know, Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses numbers 6 through 10. I was reading this morning actually, and he said, you know, your strength is in your weakness. And when he said that, it was crazy because Paul had a thorn in his side that Satan had sent to him, right? Now, many believe that that thorn was an illness. What type of illness, we don't really know because they don't describe it in the Bible like that, right? But it was the thorn that he had in his side, and he was asking God to take that thorn out of his side. God was like, "No, I'm not." He said, "My grace is sufficient enough for you. My grace is sufficient enough for you, and you will find strength in your weakness." And I'm like, hold up. Like, what you mean? So basically, I gotta go through this pain in order to get to my purpose. Absolutely. Why? Because a woman who gives birth goes through pain because what's inside of her is actually purpose. You know what I'm saying? A woman goes through pain in order to deliver and go through that 9 months and go through that process and goes through delivering our men and our women and delivering the new breed of the earth. Like that's like it's so crazy. Yes, you have to go through this pain. You have to go through this struggle, because if you don't go through struggle, there's no pure purpose in it. If it's no struggle, it ain't pure. It ain't pure. It's not even authentic at all. So you want to make sure that yes, it's going to hurt. Realize that it's going to hurt. Accept that the fact that it's going to hurt, and go through it. Don't stop at it. Go through it. That's like saying you're going to stop in the middle of the track, and you're just going to stay there while everybody else keeps running around you, and they keep laughing you and laughing you and laughing you until the race is actually over. You still staying in that same spot, and then the sun's going down and it's getting dark when everybody went to their house where there's light, and you stay in the dark. You don't want that type of life.
Right, right. And when you say, you know, go through the pain to get through to the purpose, I relate it to like the child loss stuff, because is a lot of things in our society that we would not have that are to protect or impact other lives. Like you said, you know, our story and our pain is not necessarily just for us, it's to impact someone else. And you think about John Walsh and, you know, losing his son and how America's Most Wanted was born out of that. You think about the mom who started Mothers Against Drunk Driving because of losing her child. So channeling the pain is something that, you know, in every circumstance we experience, we can find a way to channel that and find a greater purpose, you know, something that it evolves into to have a larger impact. You said something that stood out though. You said, you know, appreciating what we can't see. And as a mom who my child is no longer here, I've had to embrace that, because I can choose to, you know, get depressed and be down all the time and want, you know, just wait for my day to die, you know, or I can see each day as an individual day that I get to live and honor his purpose and honor the appreciation that I have for the gift of life that was given to me through him, and seeing that he's still here with me. That's why I like the shirt Legacy and the Infinity. His legacy is forever. He's forever with me, even though I can't see him. He's with me. I went on a run today. He was right there with me every step of the way. And as long as I find a way to see him, even though I can't see him physically, see him in everything that I do, then what you said, it still applies to someone who, like, 'cause I know somebody watching this will be like, well, it's easy for him to say he still has his child, but we still have our children too.
Yeah.
Like, did he stop existing just because he's physically not here?
Right. Talk about it. Yeah. And you know, look, I could, I do still have my child, yes, but at the same time, I almost lost him, right? So my son was fighting for his life. So I was this close, you know, And I'm sitting there, the thought that he wouldn't be here never really entered my mind. I never even thought of that. I never thought that he wouldn't never really be here. But if it was to happen, God forbid, if it was to happen, you know, I feel that God had already prepared me for it. You know what I'm saying? I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that, you know, those that have lost, you know, a loved one, especially a child, I don't know what you went through or what that person is going through. All I could say is this, right? Every day that you get up, God is still giving you grace. Every day that you get up, God is still giving you a purpose, right? So Les Brown said that there's 1,440 minutes in a day. That means we got 1,440 opportunities to be successful. Now, there's different many levels of success. Success is not just having money. Success could be what you're doing right now with this podcast and representing your son. Success is going on that run and coming back safe to your home, you know, and your son was right there with you. Even though you can't physically see him, you know that he's there. We don't see God, but we know that he's there, right? We don't know how the trees or these little tiny seeds, you know, are even what's inside the little seed, what's inside of a mustard seed, and it grows into being the biggest plant. We don't never really see that until it's actually planted and then it actually grows, right? But then what you got to really think about is, okay, my son, he passed away. So what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now? Let's take this thing to the next level. What was his gift? What was the thing that he wanted to do the most, right? And you go deliver that. I know mothers like you that have been in your situation, and they've created foundations, like, you know, just solely for their son. This is one foundation called Kisses for Kyle out here in the Philadelphia area. And this family serves over 1,000 families for the past 20 years. They have been serving so many families in this area and being there for families that are going through childhood cancer. They send them to the Phillies game, the Sixers game, all the hockey games. All the fans, like a whole community, right?
Right.
But now they're able to bless all these families, but that may not have happened if their son was still here. You know what I'm saying? If their son didn't stand for something at the end of the day. So like I look at it, you know, I look at it from a standpoint of what does God truly want? And one day you're going to reunite. One day that you're going to see and be like, baby, look, this is the work I did. And he probably already knows the work that you're doing. So you just got to continue to stay, you know.
Honestly, um, sometimes I get these little like messages, and I'm just like for instance, he rapped. Do you rap? I heard your intro. Was that you rapping on it?
No, that wasn't me. That was my homie.
Okay, so yeah, my son, he rapped, and like he had this song Chances, and you know, we're talking about purpose right now. And in the song, he's talking about purpose. He says there's a reason that we're all put on this earth, and I know mine, and I'm gonna be doing it every day until I'm leaving a hearse. This is my son at 15 years old. He recorded that. He passed at 17. I never really focused in on what he said, but I was like, you know, sometimes, you know, souls kind of have a knowing, I think. And so he left messages definitely about moving forward with purpose. So we started a foundation in his name, and he has sudden cardiac arrest. So we do heart screenings and we bring awareness for conditions that we like. So he had no signs or symptoms. He was completely healthy, here, laughing, talking, planning to go to the rodeo. And then in an instant, he was gone. Like how you said, your life changed in an instant. My life changed in an instant. But, you know, so we didn't have time to prepare for this. It was just something that you have to find out, you know, what is it that God wants from me now? And so we started the foundation. We do heart screenings, but we also continue to honor his legacy and the things that he wanted to do. So we started like a scholarship fund, and it's still open. So anybody that wants to apply, scholarship fund. So we can't send him to college because he was going to graduate this year, but we're going to help send somebody else to college, you know, so we're going to still like let him live through other people, and watch, you know, and find a way that, yeah, this isn't the life that I chose. I would have wanted a different purpose, but this is the purpose that was given. So what are we going to do with it? you know, what are we going to
Amen.
do with it?
Amen.
Amen,
Yes,
brother.
for sure. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Your story, this really, I see these podcasts, you know, it's good, and I'm trying to bless other people, but I always find myself getting blessed from every conversation too, because I'm still
Yeah.
healing every day. I'm still healing.
Absolutely.
And he's talking to people who have gone through adversity, no matter what type of adversity. Everybody is not going to be child lost, but everybody goes through their own processes and find their own purpose. And I benefit greatly from every conversation that I'm having
Yeah.
with people. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. I try to I believe that's truly my purpose every day, is to bless, you know, as many people as possible. I don't know about tomorrow. I know about right now. That's it. You know, I could plan for tomorrow. We can see what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, God has the last say. So therefore, it's my duty to leave a mark every day. Leave a mark. You know, and the marks that I leave are a trail for people to actually follow. Now, where I left the mark, if you don't see a mark that's in front of it, then you take the reins, and now the baton has been laid down for you to continue to make marks for the next generation moving forward.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kenny. This has been truly impactful to my life, and really life-changing conversation. I wish you all the best and the success in life. And yes, success don't mean money, but continuing to impact lives is going to be the success, leaving that legacy to where people will always know the name Kenny Clutch. They will always remember the name Christian and your entire family. You know, this has definitely been a blessing.
Yes.
I appreciate it so much. All right,
Appreciate
Kenny,
you.
any last words you want to say?
Just everybody listen, man. You guys can go ahead and follow me at Kenny Clutch _ on Instagram. You can also go to my website if you're looking to partner up for speaking engagements, kennyclutchspeaks.com. Other than that, continue to be blessed. Continue to move forward in life, even though life gets hard. The days get better and better every single day, no matter what. Even though we see bad things, learn how you can actually turn that bad thing into a good thing, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And remember, when we change the mind, we change the game. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow worry about itself, and today is all we got. Today is all we got. You better make the biggest impact possible. Let's get it.
Love it. And remember to continue to share your light, everybody. Everybody has that light that's been put in you by God, and it is our duty and our responsibility to share that light so that we can ignite the flame in others, so that when we're gone, our flame still exists. Peace, blessings, and light.
Amen.